Oh, hello everyone. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday. I almost forgot what day it is. I hope everyone is having a wonderful Sunday. We are going to be starting Haley's Lucidity School today, and as you guys, some of you may have been familiar with, I actually did this series on the Way of Conscious Mindfulness Network on Facebook when I was a part of that network, but I'm starting it on YouTube. I'm starting it from the beginning for you guys because I really want you all to have all the information that you need to start a lucid dreaming practice. And so we're going to be diving into that today, and we're going to be talking about dream recall because that's actually the first place that we need to start. And even if you are not remembering dreams, I get this question all the time, well, if I'm not remembering dreams, then how do I start remembering my dreams? I have nothing to write down. And that's a great question, but we are going to get into that. And if anybody has any questions that they want to ask, make sure to just leave them in the chat and I will get to them. Hey Joyce, how are you? Thank you so much for stopping by. Marley, how's it going? Thank you so much, guys. So if any of you guys, like I said, have questions, feel free to just leave them in there and I'll stop and read some of them while we go along. But dream journaling is going to be the first topic, and it's the most important topic, and I really don't want you to skip over this or not really think it's too important because it really does create the foundation of lucid dreaming and just dreaming in general. So what you're going to want to do first is get a dream journal. Now this doesn't have to be a fancy notebook that looks all, beautiful and perfect, and like it could just be a regular freaking notebook. Like I just use a regular notebook that I get at the store. I just get like a huge bundle of them. As long as you can write down your dreams in some way, that's what matters. You can use a phone if you want to, but I found that it is more effective when writing your dreams for a few different reasons, which we will also get into, but the most important thing is just to find a way to write down your dreams in whatever way is most comfortable for you. But first I want to talk about why dreams are important, why we should even pay attention to dreams. And Joyce, I am so good. Thank you so much for asking, and it is so good to hear that you are doing good as well. And I hope everyone else in here is also doing just amazing on this fine Sunday. So everyone dreams, first of all. A lot of people think that they don't dream. Just because we don't remember dreams, we're not dreaming. Well, we actually are dreaming 5 to 6 times a night. We have more dreams than that, but we have 5 to 6 dream periods a night. And most of you who have been on this channel before know that this is called REM, or rapid eye movement, and this happens roughly every 90 minutes of your sleeping cycle. And it's actually our lightest stage of sleep. A lot of people think REM sleep is our deepest stage of sleep because we're in dreams, like, oh, I'm so deep into sleep, I was dreaming. That's actually our lightest stage of sleep. So if you ever wake up randomly in the middle of the night, there is a good chance that you were in REM, and you can probably do a technique at that time. And if you ever wake up directly from a dream, definitely write down what you remember. And that's a good sign that you're in REM. So it's actually the perfect sign that you're in REM. So you can just go ahead and do a technique if you ever wake up directly from a dream. So why dreams are important, first of all, is because that's our brain processing all of the information throughout the day, but it's also things within our subconscious that we aren't aware of. So our brain actually is split into 2 little parts, our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. These are like the main different parts of our mind. And the conscious mind only takes up 5% of our brain. So all of the information that you know consciously, all the songs that you have memorized, all the names from people that you've talked to that you have memorized, like everything that you're consciously aware of is only taking up 5% of your mind. I think that's pretty crazy, okay? I think that's pretty crazy. This means that you can go into your lucid dreams and explore 95% more of information that you didn't even know was there. Obviously there was something there, but you didn't know the contents of that 95%. And so really, if you're practicing dreaming or even just lucid dreaming, you're utilizing really 100% of your mind consciously, because you're utilizing the 5% of our conscious mind when we're awake, and then the 95% of our subconscious mind in the dream state. And I do want to mention something very important, that we do sleep for 1/3 of our lives. Ooh, that's a lot of time, guys. That is a lot of time. And if you are not practicing lucid dreaming or remembering your dreams, you don't remember anything. You just wake up and you just remember that you went to sleep, and that's it. And a lot of people anyways, are fine with that, but I feel like that's just because they haven't explored how adventurous and impactful dreams and lucid dreams can be on our waking life. So it's roughly 33 years spent asleep. So if you want to have adventures and actually memories and things that you can create and explore within that 33 years of your life, roughly, then I would definitely take up this dreaming practice. I want you guys to know how important it is. Renee, thank you so much for joining. How's it going? Good evening. So I want you to know that you do dream. So if you ever have any doubts, like, oh, I won't be able to lucid dream, I'm having a hard time remembering my dreams, just know you can start remembering your dreams in literally like a week. It takes about 5 to 7 days, give or take. But know that if it's that amount of time on average, then no matter what, you're going to be able to remember dreams. Even if it took a month, that's only 30 days to get dreams back, and you didn't even think you were capable of remembering dreams, right? So it really does do a lot just to start writing down your dreams. It's really important. So not only are we processing information as well, there's situations and things that cause subconscious stress that we don't even know about. Like, have you ever had a reoccurring nightmare? Probably a lot of people in here have, right? That's probably because there was something that caused subconscious stress that you weren't aware of. And so it's playing out in your dreams. It doesn't mean that there's tons of stress stuck in there. It means your brain is processing that stress and actually relieving your body of that stress. But if it's reoccurring, then that usually means there's something that you kind of need to pay attention to. And for anyone who's checked out my last video, I actually talked about why I induce nightmares and why they're so important. And nightmares are actually the most healing form of dreams. So if you ever have a nightmare, don't run away. We're going to talk about this in the future, but know that it's something that you just need to pay attention to. But there's nothing that's going to cause you harm or anything. The most important thing is to write down your dreams, because this will help you process what's happening. And the imagery might not make sense at first, but if you come back to your dream journal maybe like a week later or 2 weeks later, you'll start to see it from a different perspective and actually be able to understand the symbolism under your dreams easier. And then once you get lucid in nightmares, you can actually talk to the dream and say, hey, what do you represent? Or, ask anything. And it will tell you, oh, I'm your childhood trauma, or I'm your inner anxiety, or I'm your fear of this or this. And you can actually work out those problems. So it really is an amazing place to just explore, have adventures, or do a lot of the deeper subconscious work that I do talk about on this channel. Yes, the more you've taught me about lucid dreaming, the more I feel even deeper connections to my intuition, channeling, and mediumship. Absolutely, Jax, and I felt the same way as well. I just feel more connected. I feel like I'm listening to myself a little bit more, because it's not just that conscious mind. Our mind goes so much deeper than we can experience in this 3D waking reality. It's really helpful to go into some sort of altered state of consciousness, such as out-of-body experiences, even just a regular hypnosis, or lucid dreaming, because we can see our mind and our psyche from a different perspective and be able to actually work on these issues that we're dealing with. So know that regardless of what kind of dreams you're having, they are good, and we can use them to create a stronger dreaming practice. So hello, Rapid, how are you? How is it going? And thank you again, everyone, for joining. It's really good to have you all here. And keep in mind, any questions that you have, definitely throw them at me and I'll get to you, because I know that when it comes to dreams in general, it really is a loaded topic, and so I want to make sure to address everything for you. One more thing I wanted to tell you about why you should take on lucid dreaming, and you've probably heard this if you're in my 40-part lucid dreaming class. I talk about this a lot, or even just my mentorship programs. I do talk about all of the importance of dreams and how much deep psychological work you can actually do. So not only can you get rid of fears and habits, but you can also get rid of thought patterns, addictions, belief systems. You can work on depression, anxiety, PTSD, insomnia. You can practice skills and wake up with improved skill. You can talk directly to your subconscious and reprogram your subconscious mind, reprogram your beliefs, reprogram your emotional responses, maybe like fears or phobias that you're wanting to work on. And it goes so much deeper than that. Even meditating in the lucid dream, I found, is really, really insane. There was actually a study that showed that everything done in the lucid dream is 7 to 9 times more powerful than in the waking state. So if you were to try to practice a skill in the lucid dream, you'd actually know how to do it a lot more once you wake up than you would have if you just didn't practice in the lucid dream at all. They actually did a sports science study in the UK where they had athletes run, do jumps and squats and lift weights in their lucid dreams for 30 days. And after this study, it showed that the athletes actually improved in speed, accuracy, and muscle mass. So this shows that lucid dreaming really does have a powerful impact on our subconscious mind and our brain in general and how we function. Dreaming is a natural part of our biology, so it makes sense why it would be so effective and why we'd be able to use it in our waking lives, right? So it's really cool. It really does have a powerful impact. And the reason why this works, if anyone's wondering, is because when you're in the dream, your brain cannot tell you're lucid dreaming. Your brain thinks you're awake. So if you practice something, your brain's actually working and it's actually rewiring the brain and the neurons are firing just as if you were actually doing that when you're awake. So this goes with like practicing like driving or a skill, or maybe you're on stage in front of a crowd and that's your biggest fear and you want to overcome it. So you'll do that in the lucid dream and your brain will think it's actually happening. So it'll be like, oh, this isn't so bad. You're doing it right now. Okay, I'm gonna rewire the brain to be a little less scared of this thing since you're willingly doing it. Like it thinks you're actually willingly interacting with your fear in waking life. So this is really powerful, guys, and it can really do so much for you and your subconscious mind and your life overall. I can't tell you how many different situations my clients have came to me with and how much we've been able to transform that situation or their life through the lucid dream state. It really should not be underestimated. This is really powerful practice, and I want to make it as available to all of you as possible, and I want you to know that it is something that can be done really quickly if you have the correct information and if you're using that correct information correctly or in a correct order, if that makes sense. My dream characters summoned a scary demon monster in a closed room and it made the characters disappear, so I ran from it. Yeah, so what I would do if there's any, and here's the thing I want to tell you guys, if there's ever something in your dreams that makes you uneasy or like makes you kind of scared, that is your sign that you need to go towards it. It could represent something so much deeper, but if you're running away from things, you're telling your brain, you're affirming the fact that if something scares you, you can run away. But the thing is with that, which kind of sucks if you run away in a nightmare, it doesn't just go away. It's like, okay, see you next week, basically, and it will just keep reoccurring if it's like a deep-seated issue. So that's your sign. If there's anything that makes you uncomfortable in the lucid dream, whether it's a person, an energy, a house, I know it's terrifying. Like, I know that the lucid dream feels just like real life, but know that you're safe and you should go towards it. And you'll be so proud of yourself once you did, because of the information that you'll get or just what happens in the dream. Like, they really have a huge impact on our life. Yeah, it sounds cool, and there's some things that make you a little nervous in the lucid dream, but that's why it's such a powerful way to overcome fear, because I've even worked with veterans who have PTSD, and when you're dreaming, say they were dreaming that they were in Iraq, the body actually thinks that you're going through it. Your brain actually thinks that you're in Iraq, so it's going to make you start to sweat, your heart's going to pound, it's going to make you think that you're back at war, back in Iraq. But once you get lucid, the prefrontal cortex part of your brain switches on, so your sense of self switches on. You're like, wait, this isn't right. I'm not back in Iraq. This is a dream. And all of a sudden, the anxiety tied to that dream is released. You have rewired your brain because you've trained yourself to realize it is just an idea or a memory or a dream, something like that. So if your brain doesn't, if your brain knows that it's not happening, it takes away the anxiety of it. It's like if you were to imagine something but get like really terrified, it's an imagination. You know that you willingly thought of that, right? So you know that you're not actually there. It's kind of the same thing, if that makes sense. Is it possible to try too hard to astral project? Yes, it is possible to try too hard to astral project. That is a very good question, Mind Power, and I've noticed that when I let it flow, when I let it happen, when I just am open to having whatever experience, it seems to happen. So I'm going to tell you a little secret, something that all of you should try to do. So if you're ever going to do an out-of-body experience technique, what you're going to want to do is when you wake up to do the technique in REM, you're going to tell yourself that you just want to relax. You just want to meditate and relax. And what you're going to do when you're in the technique, as we talk about, lay on your back, spread out your limbs, don't have anything crossing or touching, and you're going to go into that hypnagogic state. And what you're going to do is you're just going to completely let go of any attachment. You just want to relax. You have this time to yourself, no one's bothering you, it's completely quiet, and you just want to really take in how relaxing your environment is. I promise you, just that little switch you do in your mind of your expectations or your intentions is going to change so much, because you can try too hard because your brain is constantly being stimulated. So if you're in the technique, you're like, oh my god, I gotta get out, but your brain is constantly being stimulated. It can't relax, and it tells your body, oh hey, I'm actually awake, and then it wakes your body back up. So it is possible to try too hard, even with lucid dreaming. So I would have a more relaxed idea about it and be more playful with the idea of lucid dreaming and out-of-body experiences, if that makes sense. Oh, my plugs, yes, they do not hurt. It's just like regular earrings, basically. I mean, when you first, have them. I prevent nightmares by thinking positive thoughts, by avoiding horror stuff. I don't like having negative dreams. I've learned to have an appreciation for negative dreams because that gives me a chance to know myself better. It gives me a chance to know my quirks, what I like, what I hate, what I love, what makes me feel comfortable, what makes me feel uncomfortable, what scenarios I like, what scenarios I don't, and so much deeper than that as well. Like, if I'm constantly running away from a nightmare, I'm running away from myself. I'm running away from my own mind. There's a part of my psyche that I'm disowning, basically, is what we're telling our brain when we run away from nightmares. So it really does have a bigger psychological impact than we realize. Of course, I've ran from, nightmare characters before. I feel like everybody has. But once you know that you are completely safe and this is what you need to do to overcome this nightmare or something that keeps showing up, that's when the breakthrough happens. And you'll notice that once you overcome your fear in the lucid dream, you'll hardly ever have anything scary happen again. Like, it doesn't happen. Because you've shown that fear in the lucid dream doesn't even exist. Fear stands for, false evidence appearing real. That is the definition of a nightmare in the lucid dream. It is false evidence appearing real. It is not a nightmare. It is something completely different. But our perception, our emotional response makes it more scary than it actually is. The reason why we feel fear is because our brain is trying to get our attention. What creates the most awareness? Fear, right? We're a lot more aware and alert when we're scared. And so that's why the subconscious creates fear, to get our attention, to get us to listen. And so if we're running away, it's going to either shut us out of our dreams and we won't really be able to remember many dreams because we've kind of showed we're not ready for it. It's kind of weird how the subconscious works. It only lets you in if it thinks you're ready to get in. I know that sounds weird, but it's literally how it feels. And you'll notice if you go to ask a huge question in the lucid dream, if you're not ready, the dream's going to tell you like you're not ready. So really there is a deeper intelligence behind this that we need to look at and really see, like, what is this nightmare trying to tell me? It's not myself trying to scare myself. I know it's not. I know there's a deeper meaning, but it's all up to us to find what that meaning is. So I wanted to go into dream journaling for anyone who has not set up their dream journal yet. Again, you can get a random notebook. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I want to kind of tell you how I set up my dream journal. That way, you kind of already have it set up and we can make it kind of fun as well. So I'm just going to grab a notebook here. This isn't my dream journal, but I'm just going to grab a notebook because it works. So what I like to do is on the first page, this is actually like my business planning notebook, but we're going to pretend it is a dream journal. So on my you can do it like on this page or on your very first page. I'll write affirmations down because then you're always seeing it when you go into your journal. So the first page of your journal, I would write any affirmation that you want to use during your techniques or to help you remember dreams. So one of my favorite ones is, tonight I'll remember my dreams. I have excellent dream recall. So I'd probably write that down on the first page and then maybe I always remember my dreams. My dreams are always so fascinating. My dreams are always exciting. I always go on amazing adventures in my dreams. You want to fill the first page with affirmations regarding dreams because seeing that a lot is going to go into your subconscious mind and help you think about dreams more. And it's also going to help the idea of dreams seep into your subconscious mind when you're in the experience. This is why we have to saturate our mind with the thought of reality checks and asking ourselves if we're dreaming, because if we do that enough, it's going to start showing up in our dreams. And this is kind of the same way. So if you do want to use the first page just for affirmations, that's what I like to do. And then you just have a list that you could read like every night before bed, or you can memorize them. I have a whole list of affirmations I actually memorized, and then I'll recite them like as I'm going to bed. You can do it out loud, but I just kind of do it in my head until I fall asleep, and then as soon as I wake up, I ask myself if I remembered any dreams. So, Bill, how are you? Oh my gosh. I love those snowman shags. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so you could, yes. So you can use fear as a reality check. What you'd want to do if you did that, if you're someone who's having a lot of nightmares, what I'd recommend doing is anytime you're awake, if you run into something that scares you, do a reality check, because then you'll train yourself that anytime you feel fear, to check if you're dreaming. So do that in waking life, and that way you'll start to do it in your dreams. Any habit that you want to build in your dreams, you want to build in waking life first. Does that make sense? Because your habits will carry over into your dreams. That makes sense? Okay, and I will get to your guys' like questions and stuff. I just want to make sure, like, I want to make sure that I remember everything that I feel like is important, if that makes sense. I'd like to make a clarification. There's a difference between a bad dream and a nightmare. An actual nightmare can be dangerous or even fatal. If you get scratched in a nightmare, you'll wake up with one. So I kind of disagree with that. There are instances where I have woken up and I have a scratch on me, you know, but just because it's a nightmare doesn't mean it's something like deeper or like scary. Like, it's truly our subconscious mind expressing itself in the only way it knows how. And the only way it knows how is through symbols. So if we're feeling a lot of fear, if we feel uneasy about something in waking life, how is the dream going to express that in symbols? It obviously can't use like sunshine and rainbows, right? Because it wouldn't get the point across of what we're experiencing. So it has to use symbols that match the energy of what we're feeling. So that's why nightmares are really misunderstood, because there's something in you that is holding that energy, and your brain is, and your subconscious mind is trying to express that to you, but it has to use something on the same wavelength or energy level as what you're feeling, so it can kind of get the point across. Or, you know, if it only could use like happy symbols and stuff, we would never be able to efficiently communicate with our subconscious mind. And we have to break the barrier between like negative and helpful. Like, just because something is like hard to face, like our shadow, it does not mean it's negative. It just means that it's a raw emotion that needs to be processed. We always put these like labels on emotions, like this one's bad, this one's good, and we kind of like filter through them. They're all just raw emotion, and we need to break down our perception of what's negative and what we need to run away from, and see it all as just something on an open plate that we need to, you know, address, if that makes sense. But I know it's kind of a lot to take in, and it does take some exploring this idea and stuff to really like feel comfortable with it. So if you don't feel like facing your nightmares immediately, I totally understand. You'll do that when feels right to you. But I just want to let you know there's no reason to feel scared or feel fear. And if there is, definitely let me know how I can help or what you're experiencing. One thing I'd recommend doing for anyone who's experiencing sleep paralysis is to check out my playlist. That's been getting a lot of views on there, because I know that a lot of people are dealing with sleep paralysis, either want to get to sleep paralysis, want to stop it, want to understand it, don't want to be scared of it. Like, I've created a video on everything that I can think of related to sleep paralysis on my channel. I've put it in a playlist, so you can just go check that out if that's the kind of nightmarish energy you're dealing with. But if it's like an actual nightmare, then we're definitely going to get into that. But just know that it's something that you just need to pay attention to. In Tibetan Buddhism, they actually say the seeing is the doing when it comes to a nightmare. You don't have to interact with it, just don't run away. So if you get lucid in a nightmare, just don't run away. You don't have to do anything. You can just sit there. Just sit there silently, just observing. And that actually will do a lot more than just running out of the nightmare. And that's actually could be enough to just completely dissolve that idea, if that makes sense. Thanks, Jax. I have like 9 or 10 sleep paralysis videos because I get questions about that all the time. And I want to make, and like, guys, I went through this too. You have no idea what I had to go through to, like, I was experiencing random sleep paralysis periods, but like, I wanted to know how to induce it. So I tried to cut out all the trouble so I can help you guys experience it without all the, you know, trial and error that I had to go through forever. So seriously, it will help you if you're dealing with something related to sleep paralysis. But if you have any questions about that, definitely just throw them in here as well. So we have the mantras on the first page, right? Now it's really fun, okay? You don't have to do it this way, but I want to tell you about it just in case you do want to go the extra mile. If your extra gene's kicking in, if your too much gene is kicking in like mine does, then you'll want to do this, okay? But I know it's for dedicated, like you'll want to, you know, it takes a bit of time, but it's fun. If you learn to have fun with dreams, then you'll actually have random lucid dreams and won't even have to try. Like, the more fun you have and the more playful you are with it, it's so much easier. So when Mind Power said earlier, like, can you try too hard to lucid dream and astral project? You absolutely can try too hard. So just completely relax, have a childlike curiosity, and just be playful about it. So your dream journal is going to have this beautiful front. If you want to decorate it, put some beautiful pictures on it, or draw something, or do whatever your heart tells you to do. That's what you should always be doing. And then you're going to have your mantras right here if you want to, but I like to have a page for that. Now, this is how you're going to write a dream down. And then we're going to get into if you're not remembering dreams, so don't worry. So how you're going to write a dream down is you're going to write the date and the time in the corner that you woke up, And if you can, you don't have to do this, but if you can think of a title for your dream, you want to put that there. And what I like to think of like is if this movie, or if this dream was a movie that I was directing, what would it be called? Or how do I sum up this dream in a title? And so you're going to give it like a little title or a book title for each dream. That way, if you're ever going through it and you need to find dreams, you can just see the title of the dream and be like, oh, the snowy zombie apocalypse. Yeah, I remember that dream. That's the dream I was looking for. You don't have to read through everything. You have all of your dreams titled. Make sure to have the date and the time down when you wake up, because this will help you track what you're dreaming about throughout a certain week. Like if you have dream sun, it's just going to help you so much. It's also going to help you track when you're waking up, which will be helpful for like REM and stuff. So this is like, dream journaling is very important, okay guys? So you're gonna have your dream, and then the title, then you're gonna write your dream, and then under it, if you want to, you can write like, what does this dream represent to me? So if you think like the symbolism behind the dream, then you're gonna write that down. And then you can also have a section where you draw out your dream. And something cool I'm going to tell you guys, I actually have a cool product coming out where it is going to be a dream journal that I've created for you guys that has all of this in there. There's going to be a little spot to check if it was lucid or not. There's going to be a spot to write down your dreams. There's going to be a spot to draw out your dreams and to write down what you think this dream is symbolizing. It's going to be like a full, just awesome dream journal. And don't worry, I'm not going to slack on it. It's going to be thick, okay, with 3 C's, I promise. But I just want to let you guys know, stuff is coming, okay, guys? Stuff is coming. But until then, we're just gonna use these notebooks. But hey, I'm just telling you. And then yeah, you can write out your dream or draw a picture of it if you feel like to. And that's literally it. But the one thing you want to make sure is that you use this every day, and please don't keep this away from your bed. I know a lot of people are like, oh, I use my computer to dream journal, so like I'll get out of bed, go up to my dream journal, go up to my laptop, turn it on. You're gonna forget a lot of your dream maybe if you do that. And plus, I think it's important to dream journal before your feet touch the ground, because once you even get out of the position you woke up in, your dreams are gonna start to fade. So before you even get up, I keep my eyes closed and I just ask myself, what was I dreaming about? Do I remember where I was? Do I remember who I was with in my dreams? Do I remember what I was feeling? Do I remember any like objects specifically? And you'll just ask yourself questions. You're gonna probe your mind to get information. And a lot of times you can it's almost like a ball of yarn that you're unraveling backwards. You'll take one little piece of your dream and be like, yeah, I remember being with my friend. Oh yeah, and we were in the forest. Oh yeah, and then we were doing that. Like, you'll be able to unravel the whole dream backwards. So make sure to ask yourself these probing questions, and that will definitely help you in writing your dreams down. Now, if you're not remembering any dreams, don't worry. This is only going to last like a week or two. If you're doing this every day, you're still going to write down the date and the time when you wake up. And you're going to ask yourself anything. If you don't remember anything from your dream, that's totally fine. You're either going to write down, I don't remember anything, or I didn't remember any dreams tonight, or you're going to write down anything that you remember from sleep. So do you remember tossing and turning in the middle of the night? Do you remember getting up to go to the bathroom? Do you remember having like a weird random thought or like image? Did a song pop up in your head? Any of that you remember from your bracket of sleep, you're going to write down in your journal. And the reason why is because you're teaching your mind to become conscious of what's happening during sleep. So at first, it really doesn't matter if it's a dream or not. The most important thing is that you're actually writing in the journal. You're writing something down. You're trying to probe your mind to remember anything from sleep, dreams or not. And then that will last for about like a week. Then you're going to start remembering little pieces, a little bit more and a little bit more. And then you're going to have full, those like really vivid, crisp, movie-like dreams. Like, they feel so real that you're like, is this a dream? What? Like, you almost start to get confused. You're going to start having those dreams, and that's when you can easily anchor lucidity, because you're almost conscious. This is called a pre-lucid dream. When you're in a very vivid dream and it's right before you realize you're dreaming. You'll start to get these a lot just by dream journaling, because you'll have little things that will happen in your dream like, wait, that's not right. And you're going to see your consciousness starting to turn on slowly. And we'll talk about how to anchor that as well and start creating a habit of lucid dreaming, because it is possible to create a habit of lucid dreaming. And the best part is you don't have to wake up and do tons of induction techniques in the middle of the night. So we are going to be talking about that. But what I want you guys to concentrate on is the dream journal. I know a lot of you are wanting to practice lucid dreaming, and I want to tell you, you have to have a dream journal. It is absolutely necessary if you want to get far in this practice. And it doesn't have to be a lot of work. Like I said, I wanted to go through like everything when it comes to a dream journal, but if you want to, you can just write down the date and the time and then what you dreamt. You don't have to put a title on there. You don't have to draw your dream out. You don't even have to write the symbolism down. You can just go back and do that later if you feel like just make it something that is catered to you, that aligns with you, that feels comfortable to you. But the most important thing is to be using this every day and to have the date and the time down at least. And also, I wanted to go into dream signs really quick as well, because this is going to be especially important when using your dream journal. Now, this is how you're going to start getting lucid from your dream journal. So once you've been remembering dreams for about like a week or 2 weeks, what you're going to want to do weekly is you're going to want to go through last week's dreams. So you're going to just pull up your handy dandy notebook here and be like, all right, cool, I'm going to look at my last weeks of dreams. What you're going to do is you're going to analyze your dreams from last week, and you're really going to pick out any similarities. Like, is there anything you're dreaming of a lot? For me, I dream that I'm in high school all the time. All the time. That has been my dream sign forever. Like, literally, I'm either in like an elementary school, a preschool, a high school, a junior high. I'm in some sort of schooling building. And so that is my dream sign. And I see that pop up over and over and over in my dreams. So for that week, I'll say, okay, my dream sign is being in high school. Now, anytime that I see a high school or hear about a school or anything in waking life, I'm going to check if I'm dreaming. That way I get in the habit of hearing school. Okay, I got to check if I'm dreaming. And I'll go into my dream, and the next time I dream I'm in school, I'm automatically going to check if I'm dreaming. So this is a way that you can get lucid just by using your dream journal without doing like induction techniques or waking up at 4 a.m. I know it gets annoying, trust me. I've been there. But this does make it a little bit easier. That way, like, you create a habit of, because you're creating a habit of being aware, and that creates a habit of lucid dreaming, because if you're aware in waking life, you're going to be more aware in your dreams, and if you're more aware in your dreams, you're going to realize you're dreaming. Like, you see the little domino effect happen here? It's good stuff, guys. So you're going to look for your dream journal. Now, it might be the same always, like mine. It just might always be the same one that pops up, but you're going to want to look back weekly because it might change. And basically the point of a dream sign is it just helps you realize what you're dreaming of the most, so you can try to anchor that to get lucid. So for example, if you dream of like your grandma who's passed away, and you're like always with her in your dreams, then you're going to want to, anytime you hear about her name in waking life or anything like that, then you're going to want to check if you're dreaming. So it's all about creating the habit of asking yourself if you're dreaming around your dream sign, if that makes sense. So that's going to come after, though, like once you start remembering your dreams and building up your dream journal. But dream signs are definitely going to be something you are going to want to start paying attention to, even as soon as you start remembering dreams. So that is the basis of dream journaling and remembering your dreams. And you absolutely can get lucid just by using a journal, and doing reality checks, which we will get into. That's very important. Your dream journal show all the different ones. So Rabbit, it won't be able to show all the different reality checks because they're like, you can use anything for a reality check, but I definitely want to include my favorite ones, the ones that I use to get lucid. So yeah, I will. It's going to be like a full dream. It's not just going to be like a dream journal, but there's going to be techniques in there. There's going to be reality checks in there. There's going to be a little chart to help you time your REM sleep. Like, I really want it to be a really helpful dream journal that I'm going to be creating. So I will let you know when that is out. I've been working on it for a little bit, but yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. Our minds are truly amazing, but vulnerable at the same time. Our mind can't distinguish between what's reality and what's not. That being said, you can use that to your advantage. Exactly. And a lot of people think that lucid dreaming helps you get lost more, like you can't decipher between dreams and waking life. It's like, no, we're already like that. Like, no one knows they're dreaming already. We're just on autopilot. So lucid dreaming is actually helping you decipher between waking life and dreams, and becoming more aware and building more awareness and mindfulness. It's really a helpful practice, and it's not just a hobby. I mean, it can be, but it really is a lifestyle, because it does take you, it does require you to build some little habits, not anything bad, you know, just watching your sleep cycle, making sure, you know, it's how it probably should be anyways, you know, becoming more mindful during the day and asking yourself if you know where you are, if you know what's happening. I mean, it's all helpful. But yeah, lucid dreaming will help you with all of that. It won't make it worse. Hey, William, what is up? I don't know. We got to check now. So William brought that up. Am I dreaming? Get in the habit of anytime you hear about dreaming, do a reality check. So I'm going to do one right now. I'm going to show you how I do mine if there's anyone that hasn't seen that. So for anyone who has never done a reality check before, you basically, there's two parts to a reality check. There's a physical reality check and there's a mental reality check. So when you're checking if you're dreaming when you're awake, obviously if you do this when you're awake, it's going to create the habit when you're dreaming and you'll be able to realize you're dreaming. So I'm going to show you a perfect reality check, at least a perfect reality check for me. I have to show you them separately though, the mental and the physical, even though you're going to do them at the same time. So my mental reality checks, this is very important when it comes to reality check. It's basically the same thing with dream journaling, but for checking if you're dreaming. So throughout the day, you're going to ask yourself a series of questions. Do I know where I am? Do I know who I'm with? Does anything seem weird about what I'm experiencing? Does anything seem dreamlike? Do I remember where I was 10 minutes ago? Do I remember waking up in the morning? Do my hands look normal? Does anything seem like off about what's around me? Like, you really want to observe your environment. So you're going to get in the habit of asking yourself these questions at the same time as you're doing your check. And so the physical check is basically to find a glitch in the dream. So one of my favorite checks is just counting your fingers and making sure you have 10. The dream has a really hard time at detailed pattern recognition and replicating what it just saw. So if you like look at your hands and then look away really fast, it's going to glitch in the dream. So you want to get in the habit of doing this when you're awake. That way, when you go to do it in the dream, it's going to be weird and off. And you'll be like, wait, this isn't how it usually happens. I must be in a dream. That's exactly what you want to create. So I count my fingers and then I look away and I look back. And I'll try to just stick my finger through my palm. Obviously, if I'm awake, it should not go through, right? But I have to like expect it to go through. You have to almost pretend like you're dreaming when you're awake doing this. Because if you're like, oh, I know I'm awake, it's not going to work. Then in the dream, you're going to be like, oh, I'm awake, it's not going to work. Like, you're going to create the same habit. So keep that in mind. Like, be very thorough with your reality checks when you're awake. That way you are thorough with them in the dream. So I'll go ahead and do that. And this is really crazy. In the dream, you'll actually go to do it and your finger will just go through your palm and you're like, holy shit, that was really crazy. Like, it's insane. So that's one of my other favorite ones. And I'll do all three of these every time and while asking the questions we just talked about. And then I'll plug my nose and try to breathe in. Because obviously if you're awake and you're plugging your nose, you're not going to be able to breathe. But in the dream, since you're not physically plugging your nose, you can actually breathe just fine. So you can use that for a reality check on its own. You can also use time, book titles, like any way that you can really look for glitches or really look for fine details in your environment, you can use for a reality check. So keep that in mind. It's really, you can use your creativity with reality checks, which I really like. Can I make my lucid dreams more static and less random, like waking life? Yeah, you absolutely can. You can do that by intention. You can do that by meditating before bed. I'll create the dream scene I want in my mind and hold on to it and create an emotional response for it. And then it makes it more likely to happen in the dream, which is really interesting. Are you dreaming right now? Is this really the lucid mystic? I could be just an illusion right now. You could actually be in a dream. So I hope all of you are checking if you're dreaming right now. Because this could be a dream. I could actually not be here. You are right. If I poke myself with a knife when I'm dreaming, will I bleed? It depends. Anything could happen in the dream. You could just like shoot off into space. You could like turn into an elephant. Like, I don't know, dude. Anything's possible. Like, it's so hard to list off every possibility because literally every possibility is possible in the dream world. I always dream about driving and having a hard time steering the car. Jessica, I have that too. I actually had a dream a little bit ago where I was like trying to drive a car. I like went to the grocery store or something and I was like trying to drive the car home, but I kept like running into traffic. Like, I would not be able to just drive a straight line. Like, I was like running into trees or like running into cars. Like, I was like having the hardest time. So I definitely have those dreams too. My most common one though is the high school one. Always, like at least a few times a week. That's a lot. Like 3 or 4 of my dreams a week are me being in some sort of like school. I think that's kind of interesting. Will. Rip. Damn it, Will. Why? Why did you do this? But I hope that helped, guys. I hope that helped you figure out the best way for you specifically to start your dream journal. It will keep working. It will work, but you have to keep at it. A lot of people will just stop after a while and be like, oh, I didn't remember anything this morning, so I just didn't write in my dream journal. And right then you're breaking the habit. So if you didn't remember anything, just literally write no recall. It could be as simple as that. Like you could write basically nothing. It just has to be something to, like, you know, just to probe your brain to see what you dreamt about, or else you're not going to be able to build up your dreams. So next time, I might be doing this every week or every other week. I'm not sure yet. Don't get mad at me. I'll figure out, I promise. But I just have to figure out what will work with my schedule. But what I was going to say is next time we do this, we're going to be concentrating on dream signs and like reality checks and just like building awareness, because that's actually going to get you way farther than induction techniques. Because if you haven't trained yourself to realize when things are weird in your environment, it's going to be really hard to lucid dream, as you can tell. That's half of what gets us lucid, is realizing something is off. So if you just like abandon reality checks, it's going to be really hard to learn how to lucid dream. So don't abandon that. Dream journaling and reality checks are the most important, and they are enough on their own to get you lucid. So keep that in mind. See those two as a huge priority. If you're serious anyway. Obviously, I'm not going to force you into this, but I'm just telling you, if you're feeling like, you know, getting conscious in your dreams and going on some crazy wild adventures, I would definitely recommend dream journaling every day and doing reality checks. What if well, I know that, but that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, rapid, it kind of is, huh? I feel like I mostly know when I'm in a dream and try to wake myself most often. I used to, like, this actually is interesting. I feel like for most of us, our first lucid dreams came in the form of a nightmare. Like, have you ever had a nightmare as a child and you, like, knew you were dreaming and tried to wake yourself up? That was a lucid dream. Like, so technically, a lot of us have gotten lucid. Some of us, you know, didn't even know that was a lucid dream. What are your thoughts about our only limitations being what we think they are? Like, are you talking about in waking life or dreams? Because I'm a pretty open person when it comes to, like, I don't see limitations as something, like, I know there's some sort of, like, physical aspect of limitations in a lot of ways, but I truly believe that everything is possible. I have, like, a very open mind about everything, because I've seen things that I thought were impossible happen, even in my dream world. And so it's like, when people ask me, oh, do you believe in this or that? I'm like, I believe that anything can fucking be possible. Like, I truly do. Like, you never know. We always think something's the limit, and then we see another human being surpass that. And then we're like, oh, that wasn't the limit. We actually have more capability to do that than we thought. And then it just keeps going, and then we keep discovering, like, new possibilities or what we're capable of. And, like, so I don't know. It's really hard for me to think of, like, what I think our limitations would be as humans, or like in dreams. Like, it's just, you ever have a hard time literally describing your dream because it literally doesn't make sense, like a bunch of random stuff? Yes, Jessica, I absolutely do. So I'll just, and like, sometimes it's not even like an object or like a situation you're trying to describe. It's like a feeling, or like, I have that a lot. And so I'll have to just sit and like close my eyes, and then I just try to write like keywords down, you know, like keywords that I could put in my journal or something. But yeah, it is hard sometimes to decipher or describe like emotions you're feeling or situations in your dream. Like, yeah, you can find out anything in your dream, Rapid, about you. Like, you can find out things that you're scared of, like your fears or phobias, your belief systems. You can rewire program or parts of your brain, like reprogram parts of your brain. It's so crazy. You can find out about your hidden potential, how to make more money in your business, what you need to work on in your life, how your health is, where you left your keys, because consciously we don't remember where we left our keys, right? But subconsciously we were present. So you will be able to ask your dream where you left your keys even, and be able to find them that way. So just keep in mind, even if you're not consciously present, if you're living on autopilot, your subconscious is still picking up everything that's happening. Everything that is being seen through these eyes and heard through these ears and thought about in this brain is being like stored. It's like a big library. So keep that in mind. You can really ask anything about yourself, or you know, obviously things that are within your own psyche. You can't like find out tons of information about someone else. I mean, you'll still get information, but some may be true, some may be not. So it's hard to always rely on that when it comes to other people. Will, you are. What are you freaking talking about? An endless raw potential like the magician. Yes, exactly. Exactly. If I Google something in a dream, would I be true? You know, it's kind of like out of body experiences, so except different. So lucid dreaming, there's something called the 1%. So it's like 99% of this stuff you experience in a lucid dream or in a dream is you, within you somewhere. And keep in mind, we're really intense, complex beings, and we only know 5% of what we think we know consciously, right? There's a lot of depth that we don't know. But there's also 1%, which is outside of ourselves. So information that we didn't physically have in our psyche before, we can discover. So it's kind of the same way with out-of-body experiences too. You're gonna discover a mix of information from your own psyche and then little things that are mixed outside. Have you ever experienced an issue where you can't move but the dream quickly quit? Yeah, so basically what's happening, Dylan, is you're experiencing dual body awareness. So I'm sure some of you have had a dream where you can't move. And it may even be a lucid dream where you can't move. And what's happening is you're basically feeling your dream body and your physical body at the same time. During REM, we are in sleep paralysis, so our muscles are paralyzed to prevent us from acting out our dreams. If you are experiencing dual body awareness, you can feel your body paralyzed as you are in the dream at the same time. I remember my favorite form of dual body awareness. Now Jax is gonna like this one. So I don't remember where I was, but like I was on this like big mission in my dream. I was on this like huge mission. I can't remember what it was, but I was like with someone and we were gonna go like change someone's life. I can't remember what we were doing, but we go and meet up with these people. And I remember my dream telling me it was in Mexico, but it didn't look like Mexico. It was like really different. But we were on like this house on like this big grassy hill. And right below it like went way down, but there was like this beautiful lush, like beautiful river. I remember it was like dark outside, but it was like very galactic and like really intense, and there was like nebulas everywhere and the brightest stars I've ever seen, and it was like magical. And I remember getting lucid and just like putting my arms out and just like falling. Like I just wanted to experience what it felt like to fall off this huge cliff for some reason. And like I just remember looking up the sky and it was like so beautiful. And all of a sudden, as soon as I jump off this cliff, all of a sudden, I feel the vibrations like really strong. The vibrational state, sleep paralysis. You'll get these weird like this really weird buzzing feeling everywhere. And I started to feel that once I jumped off this cliff. And so that was my favorite experience with dual body awareness. So if you ever feel paralyzed or feel this weird sensation all over you when you're in the dream, it's most likely because you're picking up on your physical body at the same time. That's because as infants we can see ghosts. Lose the ability. Yep, exactly. It's like programming. Like we get programmed as we get older and we get told what's not real, what is real, what's important, what's not important. And so the most important part of this journey is relearning, not even just relearning, unlearning what we've learned and starting at it with a clean canvas, a clean slate, so we can build up from there. Because even as a kid, I was told dreams aren't really important. I would be trying to share my dream, or it'd be like, oh, like it's just a dream, like why do you care? Or like it doesn't, like I'm sure you guys have experienced that. Not a lot of people wanted to listen to like dreams, but that's why it's all about unlearning, because just because we've been programmed to believe something doesn't mean that it's true. And even if it is true, I feel like we should learn to live through our own experiences and create our own thing out of that, if that makes sense. Exactly, Jax. I believe that too. Right up, truly believing. I believe that we are a lot. more intelligent than people believe, not on like just a physical level, but intellectual level, a deeper level. I feel like we're capable of everything. If like any skill, any hobby, anything that we wanted to unlock or discover, we could do that. Anything that we see in other people. Maybe there's like a magical like guru that you know of, like in India or something, that has, you know, this specific energy about them, or has unlocked this part of their mind that has opened so much, you know, spiritually. Like we all have that inside of ourselves. We are all made the same. Like we are all, that's why when we say like we are all one, like we really have to think about what that means. What does that mean? Like when someone says we are all one, truly, what does that mean to you? Like we are all capable of, we all hold unlimited potential, and we are everything that the universe is. We are an expression, a reflection of the universe itself. And so anything that you see, anything that you believe, anything that ponders your mind, I do believe is possible, because that idea came from somewhere. I am just a very open person about what we're capable of, and I truly believe that not only us, but every living being is limitless in their own way and has potential that we haven't even seen or discovered or thought of. So that's why I really think it is important to just live how you feel called to live, because if we're always living in these lines, we'll never experience what it was like outside of those lines. And it could have been way more beautiful than we would have ever thought if we just would have, you know, followed our own kind of way through life. So even if you feel like something is like not possible for you, even if it's not in lucid dreaming or anything like that, like seek discomfort is what I love to say. Like for those of you who know the channel Yes Theory, like seek discomfort goes in so many different ways. Try things you've never tried before. Like explore things you've never explored before. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Even in your lucid dream, go towards your nightmare. Like I just wanted to mention that, like seek discomfort, just those two words have literally like changed my whole outlook on life. And even if something is not possible, like we were talking about, or we're told that's not possible, like we should still seek the impossible, you know? As cliche as that sounds, like it's so hard to say something that hasn't been said a million times, but I really do believe in that. Well, I believe it's not just believing, but it's really knowing that you do create your own reality. It's not just about believing, it's about living in that space as if it's already happened. This goes back to quantum physics and quantum mechanics. Like it really is all about creating it in our mind before we can experience it, because how are we supposed to experience something that we've never even created in our mind? We wouldn't see it, right? Even if something that we really wanted came into our life, but we never created that thought in our mind first, or explored that, or held on to that idea, or made that real in our mind first, we wouldn't recognize it when we see it in physical life. So yes, I do believe it is about believing and exploring that, and really like diving into how the mind works and just our infinite potential, you know? Like we need to like be more like free-minded and like it, and not see something as like, oh, that's impossible. Be like, I haven't seen that done yet, I'm gonna try. You know, we need to like switch that around. Bring a needle through glass, for instance, they can do it because exactly, I believe that others can, they just haven't trained for it. People wonder why like people in the West don't have the abilities that like Tibetan monks have, and it's like because there's been such a difference in culture and like where we are at and what we've been taught and what we've been programmed to believe. Like there's such a separation. So of course, if they've been doing that their whole life, it's going to be a lot easier for them to do things that we consider superhuman. But that's because they were born into that way. Like they weren't taught anything else. Their mind was created for that style of life, and it's never too late for us, but we have to understand that it does take patience. We are learning a new way of life. We're learning a new skill. We're learning to reprogram or change our mind in some way. And that's why a lot of people give up on dreaming as well, because they're like, oh, I haven't had a dream in like a week, I'm just gonna give up. Like you have the power to change and transform your mind, but you have to realize how like intricate and complex and delicate at the same time your mind is, and how much work and effort we really do have to put into creating what we want to experience, if that makes sense. Yes, Stacy, dreams can absolutely help us break through this, because think about anything that you're scared of in your life. You can explore that in a safe place in the lucid dream. So you really want to get over a fear or explore what it's like to be in a specific situation. You can explore that in the lucid dream. So you want to have a conversation with someone that you're kind of nervous to have in waking life. You can practice it in the lucid dream and even problem solve in the lucid dream. Ask your subconscious for advice or, you know, anything. Like, you can truly transform and change your life. And any limitations that you have, you can also work on those through the lucid dream as well, because all of these limitations that we have in our mind, maybe they're like physical limitations, like, oh, this isn't physically possible, you know, maybe like to fly or something. But maybe it's something that you didn't know that you'd be able to do, maybe like a artistic ability or something. You can do both of these things in the lucid dream. Not only have you taught yourself that it is possible to fly, which is an amazing outlook to have on life, because your brain thinks it's actually happening. So you're literally breaking down like barriers that have limited you in your creativity and your imagination. I think that's beautiful. But it also goes down to like physical, like artistic ability or something. Say you really wanted to be an artist, but you think you're complete crap at like painting, for example. You can go into your lucid dream and practice. You can ask advice from the subconscious mind on how to be more creative or how to bring certain ideas or emotions into your art. And it's like this whole world that you can get any answer from, anything from, and it's so beautiful, and I don't know why we don't explore that more. So we absolutely can create tons of breakthroughs in our life through doing this practice, and I would definitely recommend exploring that for literally everybody. Yes, Mind Power. I have definitely studied The Secret. I've also studied Beyond the Secret with Bob Proctor's work as well. Bob Proctor was one of the people in The Secret, and he's been studying this and the brain and the mind his entire life. And so I do practice a lot of his teachings. Joe Vitale was also in The Secret as well. So yeah, I'm definitely in that world. Quantum mechanics is the basis around the law of attraction. The Secret doesn't really go into what all of this means, but when you look at quantum physics and quantum mechanics and how the world works on that deep molecular level, it all really makes sense. And I'm a very scientific person in a lot of ways. So when it comes to the law of attraction and stuff like that people are like, oh, this is like woo-woo, I'd love to actually dig in to see like, how does this work? How does it work in our universe? How does it work with our mind? Like, what is the correlation or the connection that makes this possible? You know, so if you're wanting to dive more into law of attraction, anyone, definitely go check out some quantum physics. That will definitely tell you a lot. Do you ever feel really exhausted inside a dream? Like you have no energy to move your dream body? Yeah, sometimes I do that. Have you guys ever had like a dream where you're like, I don't know why, but you're like trying to, actually, no, I came up with a theory for this. Like when you're trying to punch something in your dream and like it's like really weak, like it's like really, you know, it doesn't work. I didn't know why that was before, but I thought about it and I was like, violence is never literally like ever the answer. And so maybe that's what the dream's trying to tell us. Like when we're trying to punch something or someone in our dreams and it's like super weak, maybe it's because it's like, hey bro, like violence isn't the answer, man. Like maybe that's what the dream was trying to tell us the whole time. But yeah, I have had those dreams, definitely. But we're usually pretty like, since our REM sleep is so like active, like there's so much brain activity happening in REM that usually we don't feel exhausted from dreams, just because like our brain is more active in that state than it is when we're like fully awake. So usually you won't experience any exhaustion, but if there have been like interruptions in your REM sleep throughout that night, then that will cause some exhaustion that you'll feel either in the morning or expressed through your dreams. Because even if you're hungry in waking life, you're going to feel that hunger in the dream. Like your body's connected. So if your physical body is tired, your dream body is also going to feel that fatigue, if that makes sense. Yeah. Hell yeah, Mind Power, definitely do it. Definitely do it. Okay guys, well, I love you so much. Thank you all so much for joining. I hope this helped you with your dreams and your dream journaling. Definitely let me know if you have any questions about, you know, your dream journaling or just remembering dreams in general. Next time we get into this, we're going to be talking about reality checks and dream signs. So make sure to start practicing dream journaling, because we're going to be using our dream journals next time we talk. And it would be helpful to have a few dreams in there at least. And if you have your dream journal next time, feel free to share some of your dreams. We can share with each other and see what we have been experiencing. Because I've been doing that with one of my friends, and we've been dreaming of like really similar things, so it's like really intense. So it'd be kind of cool to see if there's anything like collective that's going on, you know what I'm saying? All right guys, well, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you so much. If you guys want to learn how to lucid dream in 30 days or less, definitely make sure to check out my 40-part lucid dreaming video course, and definitely make sure to check out Twitch if you like video games and want to play some video games and just chill with me on Fridays. I do that every Friday on Twitch. So I love you all so much. And as always, I'm sending you endless love and endless lucidity. Bye, guys.